Hello everyone, welcome to India4IAS. Well, today I have a small good news for you. That is, we at India4IAS are starting sociology option. The idea is very simple. We thought a lot of people want to take sociology but are not being able to take because the optional is not available in Bangalore. So we are starting this in our academy in Chandra Layout. Now, in this particular session, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do in this course so that you understand the whole course features and also a little bit about sociology, how to approach sociology, and why you should take sociology as an optional. And that's me, and this is how we are starting the course. Now, do you see this image? Does this image make little sense? You need to understand why are you take sociology. It's not that sociology is better than any other optional or one optional is better than other one. It's more about the idea of the interest, the thing that you like. If you look at these images, by the way, these are only for representation. These are the people, right, whom we call sociologists in some sense. They may not be fully socialists, like we have Mahatma Gandhi there. He was not sociologist, the father of a nation. But there are certain ideas that he mentioned which basically understand, which basically look at the society. So sociologists, what they actually do is that they understand the society around them. Like they wanted to see why it is happening, why I am wearing a Western clothes, why I am speaking in English, why South Indians are celebrating traditions and cultures like Mehendi, Haldi, why do we eat or probably rice more in South and roti more in North? Why do we have such cultural thing? There is a certain folk tradition that we have. You have seen a lot of this folk tradition have also been turned to movie. You have seen Stree, you have seen Munjya, right? Why this folk tradition were built up? What is the reason for it? How society evolves? Okay. For an example, can we call UPSC aspirants as a social group? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe because they are writing the same exam, they face the same difficulty, and they have certain similarities in the issues that they face around. So that's why we can call UPSC aspirants as a group. Now, what is their struggle? A simple struggle. Initially, when we thought that we'll clear UPSC exam, the idea was I'll go there, I'll join the coaching, I'll clear prelims in first attempt, then mains, then become interview, then get district commissioner, then marry a superintendent of police, and my life is done. But once I started writing the exam, I realized, 15 lakh people writing, 1,000 getting clear. So there is a certain sort of, similarities that every aspirant that you see on your road, you feel a certain relation to that aspirant, right? And irrespective of whether it's from Delhi or Bangalore or Chennai, but if he's an UPSC aspirant, you feel, he's my group. So that's an idea that they study about sociology. So we will be studying about these guys. How did they understand society? What did they spoke about society, about the issues, and how society is evolving in itself, right? It have been a development in the society, has been in a probably sort of disintegration in the society, a lot of things. So these are the guys who studied and who mentioned. We're going to talk about it. Now, in this particular course, what I'll do is, this particular session, I'll talk 4 important things. 1, can I take sociology as an optional for my UPSC mains? That's important. Can I take sociology as optional? I'm not taking take it. I am asking it myself, and I want you to ask yourself, okay, can I take sociology as optional for my UPSC mains? 2, why should I take sociology? The day I thought, okay, let me take sociology optional, then I will think about, okay, why should I take sociology? Like, why? What is the reason behind it? Like, is this something that I love? Is this something that I hate? That we are going to talk about. And how should you approach this? Before you start anything, right? Even let's say you are staying in Hebbal and you want to come to Vijayanagar, you look at Google Maps, you decide your route, you see where is the traffic, you see where is the, it's a little bit less traffic. Then you see if it's raining, should I go in cab, should I go in bike, should I take a metro? But you plan, right? So even when you take an optional, you should have that approach. Like you should know, if I'm taking this optional, what should be my approach to this particular optional? And we are going to talk about sociology and basically about the course features. Now, the very first question, as I asked you, can I take sociology optional? The idea is that, can I? That's a big question mark. Can I take sociology optional? Can I do Bharatnatyam? Can I take sociology optional? Can I play cricket? And there are so many questions in life, right? Now, when you look at sociology as an optional or any optional, the very first thing that you do is that ask yourself very first thing, okay, are you interested? That's the very important part. Because irrespective of the syllabus, test series, question paper, coaching, whether it help in means, the first and the primary thing is the interest. At least some level of interest should be there, because this is a subject that you're going to study for like 300-400 pages for 12, probably 14 months. You're going to write on this, you're going to understand this, and you're going to reach up to honors level, which is like little bit below PG but above UG, right? So first is your interest. If your interest is about society, how society works, how society evolves, how do people interact with each other, their language, their culture, their tradition, their life, urban life, rural life, what Western scholars have said, what Indian scholars have said. Some said we are getting westernized, some said we are getting Sanskritized, some said nothing is happening, all is good, some say we all workers will come together and fight with capitalists, some say after they fight with capitalists, they themselves will become capitalists, and then there will be new worker class. So there are so many things around. Is it a science? Is it not a science? Is there a way to study? So first of all is your interest. You need to understand that you should love this subject. Like you should have that interest towards society, the observation, the life thing that has happened in your life, right? You yourself have gone through so many phases. You have seen so many discrimination. You have seen happy moments in the society, right? Crowd mentality. You have seen so many things. So first is your interest. The second, can you read this for 12 to 24 months? See, I can read something for a day, I enjoy it. If you give me something for a day, I will definitely do it. But can I do that for 12 to 14 months is a very big question. And that requires interest again. That requires your commitment. That requires your consistency. Because 12 to 14 months is a very, very, very long time. It's as if you're doing masters in a span of 12 months. As if you're doing sociology masters and the bachelors in a span of 12 months. So the question is that, can you do this? And then you choose this as a subject. Like, okay, I can do sociology. I can read it. I enjoy reading it. I love observing about the society. I'm not asking you to become a philosopher. I'm not asking you to become a sociologist, but have that mindset. I can learn. I can build my own sociology sense. I can also observe things, right? I can also observe and comment on things which are rational, which are logical, which are sociological. Then reading, observing and analyzing the society. Karl Marx wrote thus capital. According to him, proletariats will combine, will fight against bourgeois and blah, 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 right? Because he was very much, he hated capitalism. It had affected him personally, in his professional life. So he wrote, okay, we'll combine, there will be historic materialism, balance will happen, will happen, but that's Marx. Then Emil Durkheim came, he talked about a class. Then you have Indian sociologists, you have Srinivasan, they spoke about multiple things, right? Now the question is that, first thing, what they spoke about society, we have to read. Because they have spent their life, they have written documents on it, they have understood in some sense, they have tried to put that on the paper. So what is about what they wrote, you have to have that. Then you observe what they wrote, and then I see, can I analyze that from my perspective and build up a narrative and an answer around it. For an example, can I call Mahatma Gandhi ji as Marxist in some point of time in the history? Was he against the rich class? Remember in history? Yes. So can I call him that? So that is the sort of understanding that you require. Can I say that Sanskritization in today's world is closely related to Westernization? But then from Westernization, we are becoming traditionalist, because now you see we are talking about our tradition, our culture, our soft power. So this is how what they wrote, you have to read, observe it, understand it, and then put a perspective. So these are the reason that you should take sociology as an option. Now, once you are able to do this, then you can say that, can I take sociology as optional? Yes, you can. If you love the society, if you love the people around you, if you want to read about why your mother wakes up at 6:30 in the morning, cooks for you, why dad goes to office or a work or a business, how cousins react in South India versus how cousins relations are there in North India, in UP versus Tamil Nadu, do we have vegetarian people more in West Bengal or in Gujarat? All that is what you will choose this particular subject. Now, the second question is, why you should take? Now, sir, you told sociology, I am full sociologist now. From tomorrow, I am going to put a khadi kurta girta, full one, jhola wala bag, and then I am going to talk about philosophy. But the question is that we are not here to write a sociological theory, right? We are here to clear this exam. Our eventual goal is that we want to learn with interest, but our end of the goal is that we want to clear this exam. So why you can take or why you should take sociology as an option? The very first thing is previous marking trend. This is the first thing that you see. If you look at sociology as a subject and if you look at the previous marking trends that are happening, you see there is some level of consistency. I am not telling that everyone in the sociology have scored well, but what I can see that there are more number of people in top 100, top 500, right? That means there is a certain consistency in the marking because it's very open subject, it's very subjective subject, but you have to definitely use the keywords and the authors and the thinkers and what has been mentioned in the book, but there has been certain consistency in scoring of this subject. That's the reason. And you want to score well, right? Every marks matters for you. So that's why the very first thing why you should take sociology is that there has been a good marking trend, good marking trend. Then the second thing is the extent of syllabus. See, if you look at sociology as a subject, as an optional, you will see that the English here is not very tough. You don't have to write very, very difficult metaphors. Yeah, sometimes you have to memorize what authors have said, what thinkers have said, their certain terminology, but still, it's not very tough in its sense. Okay, I mean, even if you're trying to read it 3-4 times, it's not going inside. That's not the idea. Even one read, you will understand a basic thing of what this guy was telling. Then, the second thing, if you look at this particular, is that the relatability of the syllabus is that it's doable. It can be done. I'm not telling you will finish this syllabus in like 15 days, but you feel that it can be doable. Like it seems you go, I can manage it. It will not be like a very vast something from end to end. So you see that there is a possibility. Again, I am not trying to boast about this subject telling that everything will be solved here. Neither you should have it, but you should have a sense that it's a doable. Then it helps in GS1, the Indian Society wala part. I have already done videos on Indian Society. Then it helps in GS2, the social justice wala part. I have already done videos on social justice as a subject. You will see that it helps. Okay, these two subjects, it helps. Like a coverage of around, say, 80, that means 160 marks in 2 papers, it's helping. Also, in addition to this, you will say 80% of the time, I can say, I may not be correct also, but you see the most of the time, there is one essay that comes from the sociological point of view. That means, obviously, you are not reading an entire sociological essay there, but it helps for you to at least build up a 60% of the essay. So that means it helps in essay, it helps in your 1, and it helps in your paper 2 also. Then you will enjoy. That I know because you study about so many things. You study from idli sambar to roti. You study how there is a relationship between a cousin in south, in north, husband-wife relationship, grandfather-father relationship, grandfather-grandson relationship, society relationship, rich, poor, 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 rich, rich, rich become poor, poor become rich, country-wise, religion-wise, you study a lot of many things. You study how each religion has a different understanding, different take on the society. So you feel a lot of interest into it in the sense because these are the things that you observe on the daily life, right? You see it in your house, you see it in your family, you see it in the functions that you go. Today you see a lot of South Indian functions are doing healthy, mehndi. These are not our functions. We didn't have this, but how this came to us. But we also see people are wearing, three-piece suit, and white color gown and etc. This was also not a culture, but people are doing that in reception. There have been musical dance, there have been that, there has been this. Relationships have changed from marriage to live-in to micro, something else, right? So you will enjoy it. You will enjoy a lot about this particular subject. That's why that if you feel why should I take sociology, these are the reasons that you should take sociology, right? These are the reasons that you should take sociology. Now, as I told you, how should I approach? Sir, you said about sociology, I understood, I am ready to take it. Now, how should I approach? Let's see, I do not want to go to any classes. I want to study on my own. See, the very first thing as an approach, right, is that, as I told you in all other lectures that I mentioned, is that you have to read the syllabus. Even before taking any option, read the syllabus once, twice, search the words in the dictionary, what it means, the chapter names, the subsection names, understand the syllabus first. So here also what you do is that you need to read the syllabus. And the second stage, like your prep for it, is that you need to take your BA IGNO, Indira Gandhi National Open University notes. Later MA, first BA notes. Very vast BA sociology notes. But if you start reading, you will understand that there is a lot of waste papers in that. There are some question, random things and all. If you ignore all of that, they're simple because they have been designed for anyone who doesn't come to college, who doesn't come to university without a teacher. That's why they are simple. So BA notes, right? You start with your IGNO BA notes. That's your first thing. Read it like a story, read it like a novel, try to finish in like 15-20 days. 15-20 days. Don't read thoroughly, read it first read. Blah, 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 blah. That way you read a newspaper just for the sake of, some sort of knowledge, some sort of understanding, some sort of happiness, some sort of not understanding is also fine. But you have to finish this in like 15-20 days. Read it, read it, read it. Just read it. Like thoroughly go on turning pages. As you read and you see, when you read a novel or a fiction, you don't want to write that as an answer, right? Here also in first read, you should just simple read. Then Mahapatra sir notes, Upendra Gar sir notes, as well as Sindhuri ma'am notes. So these are the notes that I had referred during my preparation, and I enjoyed it. They wrote well. They have compiled few things. They have divided. They have structured it. They've given keywords. So when I, in a class also, when I do the when I'm going to take sociology, what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to mix all of this and prepare something, right? So that there is some sort of handouts for you to study, some sort of notes that you can refer, right? So these notes help, right? These notes help. And then current affairs. Obviously, anyways, you are reading current affairs, but you have to link. Now, once you start reading sociology, you have to start basically bringing the sociology into your current affairs. Okay, you read something about Karl Marx, something about historical materialism. Can that be applied here in terms of, let's say, industry classes, the middle class, all that? So you need to bring that into picture of this. And there are certain books. There is one book called Harlambas. Now, as I told you, after you do all of this, Harlambas, you have to buy the big one, the orange one. Don't buy the small one, right? There is two addition to it. You have to buy the big one, not the orange one. It's a decent book, but not everything to be studied there, but it's a very decent book, right? Then you have Ritzer for thinkers, again selected thinkers which are important for you and related for you. So for an example, they could be, thinker Karl Marx mentioned here, but they could be another thinker who has spoken something related to, might have criticized him and all that. So that's what thinkers and related thinkers. That, and then Anthony Giddens, right? You and very relevant chapters in Giddens, right? Very relevant chapters. Don't read every chapter because then this is for the master course and the bachelor course. So this is not. So you just have to do some relevant chapters. This should be your approach, right? Even in a class, what we are going to do is this, right? We are going to follow this approach so that we break down the topic, make it structure, explain it, write it, and finish it off, right? Structured it, explain it, so that you write, and then you write, we evolve it, then we feel okay, you know something, and then we start building on it. And after you do like the first round of this, then you can go for the BMA notes. You can also take MS Sociology notes. Again, go through in more depth of it. But I think this is enough, to start with this. This is more than enough for your sociology approach. But you have to write a lot, right? Because sociology answer requires sociology's answer, right? You need to write a lot. You need to write sense. You need to mention authors. Like there are authors mentioned in the part 1 paper, but in part 2 paper, there is not many authors. You need to build up that part 1 paper thinkers into part 2 because thinkers carry the maximum marks here. Well, the thinkers that I showed you in the first slide. So you need to bring them in the paper 2. Then you have to interlink paper 1 and paper 2. That's why you need to write a lot. So every time you read, you understand, you put that into paper and then you write. You understand, okay, my answer is close to what this particular UPSC is asking. And also you have to refer previous year question as and when you finish a chapter. For example, you finish a chapter on Karl Marx. See what UPSC have asked on Karl Marx in the past. What UPSC has asked on the rural and agrarian society or the social movements in India. So that's why you need to basically refer previous year papers. Now, what are the features of this particular course that I'm going to start here at India4IAS? One is the highlight that we are going to do is that we will have a paper-wise coverage. That means there are 2 papers, as you know, we'll break down each chapters. Within the chapters, we'll break down the sessions, and then we will have classes on that, right? And my idea is that once we have classes, we have weekly handouts. Although you have big books, but weekly handouts helps you to basically prepare. Like you will be able to prepare it when it's divided into smaller parts. So you will have weekly handouts, then you will have your own notes, and then your books, and each of your file or a section or whatever it is, notes should be like that part. Okay, there is notes, there is in the textbook, there is weekly handouts, and there is notes, and that becomes your one part. So Karl Marx, textbook, handouts, and notes, current affairs becomes your one topic. So that's what we are basically trying to do it here. Like you will have a weekly handouts for your classes. Then test series. Now test series, what I thought was we will break it down into not chapter wise, we will break it down into topic wise. Even if it's like a 30-minute test, let's do it, because the idea is that you should be able to write in the smaller parts and then a bigger part and then as a full length as a paper. So you will have topic wise, subject wise, test series with current affairs integration, past UPSC question reference, and all that. And also the plan is to get evaluated by the experts, right? Because basically your paper at the UPSC exam will be evaluated by university professors. So that's an idea here. Okay, we will get evaluated by university professors so that we are close to what a UPSC evaluator will basically think about a particular answer. Then you have a personalized mentorship. Obviously, from me, we will have topper session. We will try to make it unique. We'll do a peer discussion, group discussion, class discussion, because it's sociology, right? You need to understand, you need to talk to each other, you need to criticize each other so that you build up a certain narrative and a certain answer to it. So that mentorship sessions, you will have a tactics. We'll see what toppers have done, what other probably centers are doing in and around India. How are they approaching? Have they built up a certain strategy? There's nothing wrong today, believe me. It's nothing wrong in copying a certain strategy if you feel it helps. End of the day, they have also done it for you only to clear the exam. So we'll see what topper strategy is there, what other centers are doing, what how is the strategy over past 2-3 years, and we try to make that and build up our strategy. And we'll see can we allocate marks, can we do a rank tracking. There is anyways you are writing mains test series at the academy, you are writing sociology. Can we combine together this both, come out with a rank so that there's a certain motivation, certain understanding of what level you stand among 100 as a sample. So that means that will be your rank. So you try to build up more effort, you try to build up better effort to make your rank better also. So all that will be there in this particular course. As I told you, now, this is what the course I am launching. As I told you, just to revise you, okay, one, why you will take sociology, I told you. Okay, how, why, right? I told you also, should you take sociology? As I told you, an approach towards sociology, right? And also told you, okay, what will be my course feature? As I told you, you will have classes, test series, notes, weekly handouts, topper session, mentorship session, performance booster, so that you have everything. So you can call on this number, do a registration. We are going to soon have an orientation, and in that orientation we can discuss this in more detail. So I think now you are a little bit satisfied, okay? And this will be online and offline in both. You can join online, you can come offline. Anyways, it will have both effect, but I would prefer if you can come more of offline, but that's completely up to you according to whatever the logistics that you have. So that's about me, and thanks a lot. Do watch more videos to understand about this particular subject.